Hello and welcome to another exam paper walkthrough. Today we're looking at the PixiMaths preparation or best guess predicted papers. They prefer to call them best guess. I tend to call them prediction. I think prediction means best guess. But great paper 2s from them. I'm really looking forward to doing the paper 3s. So this is the foundation tier. I will put the link up to their website on the chat to this. Give them full credit for a great set of papers, I am sure. Okay, we will start off then with question 1. Okay, write these number in order of size, starting with the smallest number. So the smallest number on this list is going to be minus 4. Hang on, is minus 4. We've then got minus 2. We've then got 3. We've then got 7, and finally 8. Part B, write these numbers in ascending order. Write these numbers in order starting with the smallest. So if you're ever unsure, add a couple of zeros just to make them all having the same number of decimal places. Then it's often much easier to order them. So the smallest number that we've got here then is 0.054. Our next smallest then we are looking at 0.45. We've then got 0.54. Those are all the ones beginning with 0. Our next smallest then is 4.05, and then finally 4.5. Okay then, question 2. Alice gets £19.20 for each hour she works from Monday to Friday. She gets paid £21.40 for each hour she works on a Saturday. Alice worked last week 18 hours Monday to Friday and 6 hours on Saturday. How much did she earn? So we're doing 18 times by 19.2, and to that we want to add on the 6 hours that with the Saturday rate, and I'm going to type it in like that on my calculator. So 18 times by 19.2, and to that I'm adding 6 times by 21.4. So I'm looking at £474. Okay, question 3. Sean pays £10 for 24 chocolate bars. He sells the 24 chocolate bars for 50 pence each. Work out his profit. Let's do it this way. So we'll say the amount of money that he makes is going to be 24 times by 0.5. I've just converted that into pounds, so that's going to be 12. So the amount of profit that he spent £10, so the percentage profit is going to be 12 minus 10 divided by the original money he spent, which was 10, and then times by 100. So we're looking at 20%. Okay, question 4. In a cinema, the ratio of adults to children is 3 to 1. The children are all either boys or girls. The ratio of boys to girls is 3 to 2. What fraction of the people in the cinema are girls? We've got, if we've got the ratio of 3 to 1, so we've got adults to children in the ratio of 3 to 1, then in effect that means that 1/4 of them, so 1 out of the total number of parts, are children. And then we've got the ratio of boys to girls in the ratio of 3 to 2. So that's going to be 2/5 of them are girls. So I'm doing 1/4 times by 2/5. So do this on our calculator, or we can cancel it down. So that gives us 1 out of 10. Right, question 5. Work out the value of A when B is 3 and H is 8. So we're substituting into that formula. So A is going to be equal to 1/2 of 3 times by 8. I'm just going to put a second multiplication sign there. And then we can type it in just like that. So 1/2 times by 3 times by 8. That should give us 4 times 3, or 12. and then half of that, 4 times. So as I was talking, I halved. There we go. Let's replace that with 8. So that would give us 12. Okay, question 6. Lola and Charles share some money in the ratio of 5 to 3. Lola gets £70 more than Charles. Work out the money that Charles gets. So difference in the parts are 2. So Charlie gets 2 more parts than... Sorry, Lola gets 2 more parts than Charlie. So Lola's £70, which are 2 parts. Each part is going to be worth 35. So how much does Charlie get? Well, Charlie had 3 parts, so it's going to be 3 times by 35. 35. Which is going to give me 105. Here are some rectangles on a grid of centimetre squares. Write down the letter of the rectangle that is similar to F. So similar to F, we're looking at it to be an enlargement or the same, well, an enlargement. So if we look, that's the only one. It's a scale factor of 2, but that is twice as big in all dimensions, so it would be rectangle A. Write down the letter of 2 rectangles that are congruent, so that's going to be the same size and shape. There can be a rotation. So that would be B and G. Okay, question 8. Two-way table gives information about how 100 children travelled to school one day. Complete the two-way table, so we need to put in our missing values. So we can do this. I'm sure we've got more than one option, but I'm going to do this one first of all. So 100 minus 54 is going to be 46. The next one I'll do is this one. That'll be 37 take away 15, which is going to give me 22. Also going to do this one next. So 14 plus 16 is going to be 30. I'm then going to do, let's go for this one. So if I add these up together, it would be 29. So 54 take away 29 is going to be 25. And then 25 plus 8 is going to be 33. And then I can double check that they do add up to, well, those two add up to 70 plus 30 is 100. So I'm fairly confident, as I've found a check as well. One of the children is picked at random, so we're picking out of the denominator. Write down the probability that the child walked to school that day. So it doesn't say boy or girl, it just says child. So the number that walked would be 37, so I think it's going to be 37 out of 100. Right, question 9. Enlarge shape B by a scale factor of 2 from centre 0, 0. So I'm going from this point here. If I look at this point here at the moment, it's currently 1 to the right and 2 up, so it's going to go twice as far. So 2 to the right and 4 up, so that point would go to there. And then I'm drawing a shape just twice as big. Just looking for my ruler. So not very straight, but you get the feel for the question, I'm sure. Right, question 10, we've got draw an ordered stem and leaf diagram to show this information. You must include a key. So I'm going to start with, well, we can fit in part of this and I'll make my decision. So my smallest value is looking like it's in the 40s and my largest is in the 70s. So 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's just count how many values are, let's say 6 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I tend to, if I've got small leaves, I will often go straight for an ordered one. In this case, I haven't. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to draw an unordered one first of all, and then I'll order it afterwards. So order just means put in size. So I'm going to split the first number at 54. So 54. Then I tend to work downwards just because it's easier for me to track the numbers. My dyslexia, I often struggle reading that way. Going down, I find quite easy for some reason. 5 and 8. 8 and 1. 9 and 9. 72 and 66. 4 and 1 in the sevens column. 6 and 3. 57 and 60. 66 and 53. And then 62 and 70. Then I'm going to order them. So my 4s are already ordered, so 8 and then 9. Then my 5 columns, to put them in order, I would have to have 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. Yeah, and then for my 6s, I'm going 0, 2, 3, 5, 6, 6, and 8, 8. And let me just check. 0, 2, 3, 5, 6, 6, 8, 8. Yeah. And then my 7s column, I'm going to go 0, 1, 2, and 4. And I always tend to include the very first value for my key, just to make it nice and clear for my examiner. So 4/8, I'll label it key, equals 48. And then I like to put 48 what? Time in seconds, so 48 seconds. Okay, question 11, solve. So I'm going to be minusing 7 on both sides of my equation here. So that's going to give me x is equal to 6. And then part B, solve. I'm going to start by adding 5 to both sides. So 3h is going to be equal to 18. Then divide both sides by 3. H will be equal to 6. Solve. So for this, I always tend to start by thinking which side am I going to move my y's to keep them positive. So I'm going to move them to the left. So I'm going to minus 3y from both sides as my starting point. So that gives me 3y plus 11 is equal to 5. And then minus 11 from both sides. So 3y is going to be equal to minus 6. And then divide both sides by 2. So y would be equal to minus 3. Right, question 12. So we're given angles along a parallel line. Find the size of angle X. Okay. I'm going to say that this and this create a supplementary angle. So X is going to be equal to 180 minus 42, which is going to be 138. And the reason being it is a supplementary or co-interior angle. Angles add up to 180 degrees. Right, question 13. Diagram shows a prism. On the centimetre grid below, draw the front elevation and the side elevation of the prism. Okay, so we're using a scale of 1 centimetre to 1 metre, so we're going 2 by 4 by 2, and then centre point 4 above. So 2 by 2, 4 by 2, and then centre point 4 above. So that's going to be my front elevation. And then my side elevation, I'm looking at 2 by 3 rectangle, and then I would see this top edge of the roof, which would be at 4 above. So I'm going to draw it in line with this. Oh, I've drawn my, that should have been 3, not 4. Glad I spotted that. There we go, so that's my side. Okay, question 14. 3 boxes of tea bags are available at a supermarket. Which offers the best value for money? Okay, let's look at this then. So we've got 240 for £5, 200 for £4, or 160 for £3. So you can do this a variety of different ways. We could work out how much it cost me for a certain amount of tea bags. So I could find the lowest common multiple of them all, or I could find a multiple of them all. I could work out, they've all got factors of 10, so I could work out 10 or 20 tea bags and find out the price for that. But I think I'm going to see how many bags I can get for £1. So for the first one, so for A, I can get 240 divided by 5. So I can get 240 divided by 5 is going to give me, I can get 48 bags for £1 per pound. For the second one, for the second box, I'm going to do 200 divided by 4. So 200 divided by 4 is going to be 50 bags per pound. So that's better value. And then for the third one, C, I can get 160 for £3. So 160 divided by 3 is going to be, I can get 53 and a third of a bag for each pound I spend. So which one is better value? Bag. Sorry, box. Box C is better value. Okay, question 15. Catherine is making some table decorations. Each decoration is made from a candle and a holder. Caroline buys some candles and some holders in packs. There are 30 candles in a pack. There are 18 holders in a pack. She buys exactly the same number of candles and holders. How many packs of candles and how many packs of holders does Catherine buy? Okay, it doesn't actually ask for the lowest number. How many packs? So I wonder whether I could get away with a different answer. So the first thing I'm going to do is work out the lowest common multiple. So now that we're on a calculator only, so we've sat paper 1 and paper 2, I'm more than happy with just using a shorthand version to find the lowest common, the highest common factor. So the lowest common multiple of those numbers is going to be equal to either 18 times by 5, or it's going to be the same value, 30 times by 3, so it's going to be 90. Either way around. So I'm going to buy 90 of the candles and 90 of the holders. So, but then we need to look at the packs. And interestingly enough, that's actually this simplified fraction. So we'll go a bit further there. 90 divided by 3, 30, sorry, is going to give me 3 packs of the candles, and of the holders, 90 divided by 18 is going to be equal to 5. Part B, Catherine uses all her candles and all her holders. How many table decorations does she have? Well, that's the lowest common multiple that we've just worked out, so 90. So, question 16. The diagram shows a regular hexagon and a regular octagon. Calculate the size of the angle marked with X. So the angle marked with X is going to be equal to the exterior angle of both shapes. So the exterior angle of the hexagon is 360 divided by 6, so that's going to be 60. And the angle of the octagon is going to be 360 divided by 8, which is going to be 45. So the X is going to be equal to 60 plus 48. So that's going to be equal to 108. And I've miswrote there, sorry. 160 divided by 8 is 45. So 105. Okay, question 17. Work out, given your answer in standard form. So I'm going to type that into my calculator just as it appears. So 0.004 times by 0.05. And I want to divide that by 0.002. Could have converted them all into standard form. I want that as a decimal though for now, so 0.1. So I'm just going to say calc equals 0.1. So converting that number into standard form, then that's going to be 1 times 10 to the, and we've got 1 0, so minus 1. And question 18. The diagram shows a container that is being filled with water at a constant rate. Below are the three graphs representing the height of water in containers as a function of the volume of water in the container. Choose the graph that corresponds to the container shown above. So if I'm filling this at a constant rate, I'm going to have it filling up at the first part is going to be a straight line, and then when it gets to that point there, we're suddenly going to fill up much slower, so it's going to flatten out. So that would be this graph. Choose the graph that best represents it. So it's not numbered, so we'll just circle it. And question 19. The pie chart shows information about the results of a netball match that two teams have played over the course of a season. So we've got, okay. The red lines drew 5 matches, so we know that 45 is equal to 5 people. So how many did they win? So what we need to do is 45 divided by 5. That will tell us how many angles each game represents. So 45 divided by 9 divided by 5 is going to be 9. And then if they won 72 matches, 72 divided by 9 is going to be equal to 8. Okay, Celia says, the pie chart shows that the Blue Dolphins won more matches than the Red Lions. Is Celia correct? You must explain your answer. So this is quite a typical pie chart question. We're not given any numbers, so we don't know how many matches these represent. So, for example, this could represent one win. So, is Celia correct? We can't tell. So, we can't tell, as we don't know how many matches the Red Lions, the Blue Dolphins played. Question 20, complete the table of values. So I'm going to use the table function on my calculator for this. We've got a cubic equation. So I'm going to go menu and then third mode, and I need to type that function in. So x cubed, I'll do alpha x to the power 3. And to that I need to add on x, so plus alpha x, and then minus 2. Right, I don't have a second function of x, so I'll leave that blank. And I want to start my values at minus 2. I want to go up to 2, and I want to go in steps of 1. So those are all my values. I like to check with the one that's given, so 1 and 0, so that matches. So I'm looking at minus 12, minus 4, minus 2, and then 8. And we'll plot that. So I'm looking at minus 2, minus 12, right at the bottom. I've then got minus 1, minus 4. I've then got 0, minus 2. I've then got 1, 0. And then finally 2, 8. And then I need to join them up with as smooth a curve as I can. So I like to keep my wrist on the inside of a curve to get as smooth as I can. So I'm sure you can get it much smoother than mine with the sharp pencil and on paper. Obviously on my screen it's not as straight, it's not as smooth as I would ideally like. Okay, question 21. Here are the ingredients needed to make 12 shortcakes. Ruth makes some shortcakes. She uses 25 millilitres of milk. How many shortcakes does Ruth make? Well, if we take the recipe is for 12 and we want to multiply that by 25 divided by 10, so times it by 2.5. So 12 times by 2.5 is going to be 24 plus 6 should be 30. So let's look. 12 times by 2.5, 30. Second part, work out the greatest number of shortcakes Mason can make. So we've got a list of ingredients, so I'm going to work out how many batches of each ingredient he can make. So for sugar, he's got enough to make 500 divided by 50, so he's got enough to make 10 batches. For butter, he's got enough butter to make 1000 divided by 200, so he's only got enough butter to make 5 batches. For flour, he's got enough to make 1000 divided by 20 again, 200 again, sorry, so enough to make 5 batches. And then for milk, we've got enough to make 500 divided by 10, so we've got enough milk to make 50 batches. So the greatest number of batches that we can make is 5 batches, so 5 times by 12, so the greatest number we can make is 60. And our limiting ingredients are butter and flour. Okay, question 22, factorise. So to factorise, we're going to put them into double brackets because we've got 3 terms. So we're starting with an x in both, and then I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply together to make the back term and that add together to make the middle term. So if I start by looking at factors of 12, we've got 1 and 12 don't add, 2 and 6 do, so 2 and 6. So plus 2 and plus 6. So x plus 2 and x plus 6. Hence or otherwise solve. So we've now got that equal to 0, so I'm putting my brackets equal to 0. And for 2 things to multiply together to make 0, one of them has to be equal to 0. So either this bracket is 0, in which case x would need to be equal to minus 2, or this bracket would need to be 0, in which case x would be equal to minus 6. Right, question 23, complete the Venn diagram for universal set of numbers 1 to 16. We've got multiples of 3, multiples of 5, and then all other numbers. So we could go down them individually. If I think, first of all, what are multiples of 5 and multiples of 3? In that list, there's only 15. I'm then going to do the rest of the multiples of 5. So we've got 5 and 10. I'm then going to do the multiples of 3. So we've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. And then I'm going to list the others down here. So we've got 1, 2, 3 we've used, 4, 5 we've used, 6 we've used, 7, 8, 9 we've used, 10 we've used, 11 we've not used, 12 we've used, 13 we've not used, 14 we've not used. So let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that looks right. Write down one of these numbers is selected at random. Write down the probability that the number is in the intersection. So we've only got one number in the intersection, so that would be 1 out of the 16. Question 24, diagram not drawn accurately, work out the value of P. So we're going to have to work this length out first of all. So we've got Pythagoras here, and then we're going to have to use trigonometry here. So x squared is going to be equal to 12 squared plus 5 squared. So 12 squared plus 5 squared. So we've got 169. And the square root of 169 is 13. So I know that x is 13. So now if I'm using trigonometry, I know it's trigonometry because it's two sides and one angle. This is going to be the opposite side. This is going to be the hypotenuse. So I'm using the trig ratio with an O and a H in, which is the sine ratio, SOH. The version I want is to find the H though. So H is going to be equal to the opposite divided by sine of the angle. So x is going to be equal to x, which we found to be 13, divided by sine of the angle. So sine 63. Right, 13 divided by sine of 63 gives us the value of 14.5902. So we only want that 3 significant figures. So that's going to be 14.6. And that brings us to the end of the paper. So I hope you found that useful. Really nice paper. Thank you very much to PixiMaths again. I can't credit them enough for their revision work. They've produced some fantastic papers in the build of these exams. So feel free, please do check their website out. They've got some, I'm a big fan of theirs. I use their resources all the time, particularly for my Year 11 revision lessons. So thanks again, and good luck with your exam. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like, and I'll see you soon.